Yeah, sometimes you see people talking about their work day, and they'll throw in there that they went to the gym. I worked at the gym, and all that. Man, I don't know about y'all, but like when I'm like working out, I ain't thinking straight. I sure as heck ain't thinking straight. So you either ain't working out hard enough, or you're like, I mean, you can do a different kind of work, and you can strategize while you're on the treadmill. I don't doubt that, but uh, like you could do that going down the road. I don't consider that like work. Sitting down, focus work, because you're doing three or four other things. And I ain't saying you can't do three or four other things, but it does, like when somebody puts your schedule out there. Maybe that's how they focus, and maybe that is part of working, but I don't consider that part of your workday. That's fun. I mean, if you're at the gym, you're fun. You're doing something. You're improving yourself. Yes, but as far as that being for work, I don't figure that's work. Second part of that is like as far as the gym, I always figured the gym was a physical job. So you can be at a physical job and doing the same kind of thinking and strategizing and heck meetings almost that you're doing now at a physical job, and figuring all that out. A lot of physical jobs allow you to do that. You can actually do all that and get it done at a physical job. And guess what? You're working. I probably lift easily 3,000 pounds a night. And I probably walk 2 miles a night through my work, and just playing around like that. And I enjoy it. That's why I do it. I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm fit. I'm fit. I got a little bit around the waist, but I'm working on it. What am I? I'm like 160. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to get back to 130. I'll never get there, but I'm working on it. Anyway, that's my gym. I'm fit as a fiddle. I'm because I actually do this. I mean, me making more money doing something else, but I force myself to be at the gym kind of deal. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And because I wouldn't be going these hours. I wouldn't be doing these hours. I wouldn't be lifting this much if I didn't have to. It's the way I force myself to do it. But it does kind of bother me when somebody says, yeah, 3 hours of my work day is the gym. And it's like, okay, I get if you're talking to meetings and you're doing people while you're on the treadmill and you're doing things while you're on the treadmill, that's actually working. If you're making money, let's throw that out there. If you're making money while you're at the gym, that's working. If you're not making money while you're at the gym, and I'm not talking money that makes itself, I'm talking if you're making money by doing stuff at the gym, then yes, you're working at the gym. But if you're not making money at the gym, don't count it as your work day. That's not work. In my mind, that's not work. All right? Now maybe that keeps your mind a little bit better so that when you do work, you can focus better. Okay, but that's not part of your day. Your day starts after the gym in that case. Your day starts when you start making money. In my book, your day starts when you start making money. That's work. If you're not making money, you're not working. I don't care if you're sitting on your butt. If you're sitting on your butt making interest, you're working. If you're sitting on your butt watching coins or stock go up, you're working. All right, and if you're watching it go down, you're watching it go down, you're not working. You're doing the wrong thing there, Something's going wrong, you got to get back to work, figure out how to flip this thing around, kind of deal. But a lot of people say that. Oh, yeah, I work 30 hours, I work 80 hours a week. Yeah, but you're counting 3 hours a day. 5 days a week, you're counting 15 hours of that as gym work. It's not. And you probably got a 4-hour commute and all that. That's not work. That's actually time for you to mentally reestablish and get that all together. Man, these turkeys, every single time I come over here. I like coming over here because every now and then I see the deer and everything. These turkeys keep coming up on me. I don't know if you can see the turkeys there. But yeah, they will walk right up to my door, dude. And I don't know if you know anything about turkey, but it'll tear you up. But yeah. But yeah. So if you're going to work, be honest with the hours that you work. Because if you can't refine your hours, if you can't refine the hours that you work, then it's not work. That's just me, you know. I could be wrong. I just freaked that one out. That could be me. I could be wrong. I know there's different ways to work. There's so many different ways to work. There's so many different ways to make money. On top of what you're doing, you know, you can be going down the road. How do I say this? You can be going down the road. I don't do this. You can be going down the road, talking with somebody, and brokering a deal, and making money. Going down the road kind of deal. You don't have to be at a desk to make money. You can be on a beach somewhere making money, you know? And if you're not making money, it's not work. So if you say you're at the gym and that your work week is 3 hours a day at the gym, 5 days a week, 15 hours a week, goes to the gym, and you're actually not making money that time, that's not part of your work week. That's part of you working on you. All right? For your better health and all that. You know, you can make more money because you can live longer, but it's not part of your work unless you're making money there. Now, if you're making money there, then it's work. But if you're not making money at the gym, if you're listening to whatever and watching maybe a TV show, it's not work. But yeah, that's something I always hear people say it, because if you work, I'm up from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. That's the hours I'm up. I take a 1 hour lunch and do a 1 hour project in the day. So I lose 2 hours there. I focus 5 hours. No. Yeah. 5 hours to eBay and 8 hours to the gym that I'm here. And the rest of that's really commute and all that. I got something else in there too. And yeah, while I'm here, I'm doing other things. I'm doing tons of other things. But that's basically my work, you know. Otherwise, it's just commuting and a whole bunch of other stuff that eats up the rest of that can eat up the whole bunch of time. So if you throw it together there, that's 5 plus 8. You know? I'm only working 13-hour days. The rest of that's commuting and screwing around. And believe it or not, that's pretty tight. But actually, there's like an hour in the morning too, come to think of it. So yeah, let's call it 14 or 15 hours a day. And the rest is commuting and doing other things. And it is what it is. But people saying they work all these hours, break that down. Figure out how much you actually work. And then, if you can, break it down and refine it so that you can focus on work instead of just work plus maybe watching a show on the side. Where you're actually slowing down. You're actually not working those hours. I'll get to something else on another day. But there you go. If you're working at the gym, work at the gym. If you're working while you're working out, you might not be working. Anyway, see you folks.